guys, what's up? It's me, Chloe, and welcome to my channel, Chloe Chisholm Vision. Today, I'm going to show you how I edit my fitness photos. The first form of photography that I was interested in was fitness photography. That was when I was about 11 years old. I bought my very first iPad at the same time that my mom was opening up a CrossFit gym. So I would spend all my time at the gym with her, and to entertain myself, I would just run around and take pictures of members with my iPad, and I would also take a ton of video, probably more video than photos. The action of like taking photos or taking a video of a human being who is doing something that they never thought they would do before and accomplishing something so incredible was just so beautiful to me. Even at that age, at 11 years old, it was just so beautiful, and it still is so beautiful to me. So I know that no matter what I am interested in 10, 20 years from now, or no matter where my art form or my passion takes me, I know that fitness photography and fitness videography will always be like my home base. So I'm really excited to share with you my editing process for fitness photography. Once I moved to Boston to go to Mass Art, I interned, and I'm still interning for Invictus Boston, and this is where I ended up really just building my portfolio and taking pictures of people at the gym, and then also on my own. Even before my internship, actually back in September of 2019, I decided to go to one of Boston's #1 CrossFit competitions, the Southeast Showdown. And the year before, I had actually competed in the Southeast Showdown. I was so eager to just create as much art as I could, and going to the Southeast Showdown and building my fitness photography portfolio was truly, truly important to me. So I went to the Southeast Showdown, and it's a 2-day competition, and it's a long competition, and it's a very different experience when you're not actually competing. It was incredible to watch all these athletes compete and taking photos of them, again, like doing something that they never thought they'd do before, accomplishing this goal. It was so beautiful, and I enjoyed taking these photos so much. And at the end of the competition, I was literally so tired. I was probably more tired from taking photos and standing the whole time than actually competing. But it was such an incredible experience. So that's my background with fitness photography. It's really been in my life for the past 8 years. It's a very strong passion of mine. Let's stop talking, and I want to get into it. So let's get started. First things first, I always put my photos in a folder because organization is key. I have about 5 photos here, but we're only editing 2. I'm gonna open up Adobe Bridge. I clicked on desktop and then fitness photos, and that is how I found my folder. I'm gonna edit this photo first. So I'm gonna click on it, file, open in Camera Raw. Here it is. If you've seen my last video, how I edit self-portraits, I talk about my style right now is warm tones with a purplish tint. So that is what my first step is going to be. I'm going to bump up the temperature by moving the dot to about 20 to start. And it's going to look like really warm, but that'll change a little bit. Now I'm going to move the tint up to about 20. We may even bump that up more or less depending on how the rest of the editing goes. All right. Clarity. Clarity is key for fitness photography, or even movement photography in general, especially for CrossFit. For me, clarity, it makes the muscles much more defined, and especially in this instance where in this photo you see a lot of chalk and barbell and metal, and the clarity, bumping up the clarity to a high number, it makes not only the muscles more defined, but everything around the person, all these like rough textured objects, it makes those textures really pop, and I love that. I think it has such a cool effect. that is what I'm gonna do next. So I'm bumping up the clarity to 70. See the difference in that? So much better. I'm gonna dehaze just a little bit to 10. Perfect. Wonderful. I'm not gonna mess with exposure and contrast too much because we're gonna do that in Photoshop. I just bumped it up to 5. It's supposed to be at 7. All right, the temperature is gonna go up a tiny bit more, and so is the tint. I'm gonna increase the tint to 35. Perfect. I bumped up the clarity to 75 just to add a little bit more. There we go. Next, I'm gonna click open to open in Photoshop. I'm filming this video right now, I can't. Now that my photo is in Photoshop, I'm going to first click on levels, which is in the adjustment panel to the right. I'm gonna move the dot that's on the far left-hand side up a bit. Let's try 8. And then the dot on the far right-hand side, I'm gonna move that to the left. And you just kind of have to play around with it a little bit to see what works. Next, I'm gonna click on curves, which is also in the adjustments panel. I'm gonna click on the line towards the bottom and you'll see a dot appear. And I'm also gonna click on the line more towards the top of the line and another dot will appear. So I'm gonna bring the bottom dot down just a little bit. And then I'm gonna click on the top dot and move that up just a little bit. And then again, you just have to mess it around with it just a little bit more to see what works. Beautiful. Now we can see if you click on the little eyeball in the layers panel, you can see the before and after. And there's a pretty cool effect with both curves and levels. All right, next I want to crop. I'm gonna click on the crop tool, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tools down. And first, let's make this straighter. That's much better. I'm gonna crop it a teeny bit more. That looks pretty cool. I'm gonna click on levels one more time and click to the dot all the way to the right and move it more towards the left, just a little bit more. Next, I'm gonna click on hue and saturation. And I'm gonna move the hue dial a little bit more, just a little bit to the left to -2. Just to add a little bit more of the purpley tones. And that's all I'm gonna do for this photo. I think that looks pretty darn good to me. This is one of my favorite photos, my favorite fitness photography photos. I really like this photo. It really captures a moment after a CrossFit workout, and then of course the person who's walking over this athlete, who ended up eventually fist pumping right after I took this photo, but I couldn't move fast enough to get the picture. So it really captures CrossFit in a photo, I feel like, just the post-WOD feels, and then you with your friend or workout buddy. So I really love this photo. And the framing. Framing is really important with photography and something that I've been loving experimenting with this photo. I wanted to get the rig, the pull-up bar in the photo because I knew it would frame it pretty well. Next, I'm going to click File, Export, quick export as JPEG, and type edited after. Boom. So tell me what you're thinking of. Alright, next, time to edit the second photo. I'm going to go back into Adobe Bridge. This is the next photo that I'm going to edit. File, open in Camera Raw. I'm going to first bump up the temperature to 20 and the tint to 20. That's usually what I start with. Next, clarity. I'm going to bump up the clarity to about 50 for now. Look how much better that looks. Like, you can just see the chalk in the air and the chalk on the plates and her muscles. Everything just pops really well. I'm going to bump up the dehaze to about 10. Actually, maybe even to 15. Awesome. And I'm going to bump up the contrast to 10 as well, but we're going to be playing around with that more in Photoshop. The most important thing here in Camera Raw is clarity. Alright, let's bump up the temperature a little bit more to 25 and the tint. Let's keep the tint at 20. And the clarity is going to go up just a smidgen to 60. I do want to decrease the highlights to 20. And that is all we're going to do here. So I'm going to click on Open to open Photoshop. First things first is the levels. So I'm going to click on Levels, which is in the adjustment panel on the right side. I'm going to move the dot that is in the far left-hand side. I'm going to move that to the right to about 8 for now. And then the dot on the far right-hand side, I'm going to move that to the left. And then I'll see what that does. Brightens it up. We don't want it too bright. Let's keep that at 40 for now, and 8. And I bumped up the dot on the left-hand side to 11 for the contrast. I'm going to edit with curves just to experiment, but I'm not sure if I will keep the effect. So curves is the third adjustment tool. Alright, so I just slightly moved the line down and up, just really, really small though. Alright, so as you can see, her face is becoming really dark and red because of the contrast. So I'm going to fix that by zooming in, and I'm using my quick selections. I'm using the quick selection tool, which is the fourth tool down in the toolbar on the left-hand side. If you have a Mac and you click the Option key on your keyboard, that will subtract the selection. So I just want to select her face. Next, I'm going to click on Hue/Saturation, which is in my Adjustments panel. First, we're going to click on Master, go down to Reds, and move the hue towards the right side, which will make her face a little bit more yellowy. I'm also going to decrease the saturation of the reds. So see what that does? It literally makes all the reds desaturated. I'm going to keep it at 8. Also for her face, I'm also going to I'm going to edit using the lightness tool as well. So I'm going to move the dot in the lightness bar up to 10. Okay, so that should help as well with any of the extra contrasty effects that levels had. So if you can see the difference here, it's quite the difference. All right, we're done with the second photo. So I'm going to click on File, Export, Quick Export, and type Edited After. Boom, save. That is it. Alright guys, that is it for today's video for how I edit my fitness photos. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you learned some new tips and tricks about Photoshop and Camera Raw and how to edit fitness photos. Clarity is a really important step for editing not only my fitness photos, but just movement photos in general. Everything just pops and it just adds so much more interest to the photo. I hope you took away something from this video and thank you so much for watching. If you would like to see more of a full portfolio, check out my website, chloechisholm.com, and my Instagram page @hearthaven to see more photos. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous day and happy creating. I just want to say something. I have stuffed animals in the background and I purposely did not move them because usually I do, but I'm not embarrassed. I'm not. They're just chilling. Yep. Okay. Bye.